I don't want him to get angry.
Hopefully you can trust me now.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do.
Good.
Okay, that's creepy.
Look, I'm a nosy person, okay? And one thing that I think is really interesting is YouTube drama, right? But like when I'm watching it, I'm just like, who did what? What side do we take? But when there's so much emotion into it and relevant creators and all these kind of things, you don't really know what you believe. But there's one YouTube drama that really stuck with me. What the happened with Stephanie Soo and Nikocado Avocado?
Oh my god, okay, this is what we're about to do today, guys. I need you to strap in because this is a long video. Why I'm scared of Nikocado Avocado. When this happened a while back, oh my god. Okay, I've been in the sphere for like a while. I remember watching this and not understanding why this was happening. Have y'all been keeping up with like Nikocado Avocado and how he just seems like very attention seeking?
I wouldn't have become disabled if it weren't for you people. Ouch! My ribs!
This is gonna sound kind of wild, but like if Nikocado's channel is this successful from farming drama and just diving into being the bad guy and a drama queen, I think it's safe to say that Nico is actually pretty smart and knows what he's doing and probably could be a highly manipulative person. I'm not just saying, oh, you do well on YouTube and then you're a manipulator or something, but when you're constantly able to weave in and out of relationships and have people talk about you in a way that benefits you and then you capitalize on it, there's something going on there, you know? And also, if you are not familiar with this drama at all, just kind of let Stephanie cover everything because she made this video as though none of us knew anything that was going on. Apparently, this drama between Nikocado Avocado and Stephanie Soo was going on for a few weeks or a few months prior. Like, they were collaborating and doing different things. Stephanie struck first, okay? And that's all the info we have thus far. Okay.
In and out of sleep.
Let's put on some captions.
Hopefully you can trust me now.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, that's creepy.
Hashtag me too.
I remember this part too, and I was like, what's going on?
The past couple of days have been filled with just a lot of manipulation, in particular manipulating my own words against me to make me do things that I don't want to do and I don't feel comfortable doing, and a lot of Nikocado Avocado using his platform to threaten me and to bully me. At this point, my home safety is kind of in question. So
Oh my god, I forgot this
normally I
video
wouldn't
gets
talk about
wild.
stuff like this. I feel like I've been manipulated by fear that I can't say no to him. I just want to take back my power to say no.
I don't recall what she's gonna say in this video, but her power to say no about what? Unless she means like she's afraid of telling him no to things and then like otherwise he'll get mad and he'll retaliate or basically punish her by like talking shit or something like that. Maybe? Listen, we're getting to the bottom of this today, okay? Think about it. Looking at it with fresh eyes 2 years after it all happened, you know what I mean?
Before I get started into sharing everything that's happened, I just want to read to you guys some definitions because I feel like I didn't know what was happening to me. And I wish I had known what the true definition of these things were because I feel like, I don't know, maybe I could have prevented it. Maybe I could have stood up to him. Maybe I could have said no.
I kind of believe that. I saw the beginning of this and I know that like after this, she starts to read off some definitions about like manipulation and gaslighting basically, you know? And what that says to me is that Stephanie was probably feeling all of these things and she had to like read these symptoms on a website to know that the things she was feeling were real. That's what happens when somebody gaslights you and invalidates your reality. If you're a person that has some like people pleaser tendencies, I've had people pleaser tendencies my whole life and I've like only recently started to break out of them. Nikocado strikes me as someone that might push some boundaries to get what he wants, right? So he might kind of push some boundaries and then Stephanie says, oh yeah, okay. Because maybe Stephanie says, well, I can handle this. I can take this. I can take one for the team here. And then, you know, Nick comes around and it's like, well, how about this? And she's like, okay, I can do this. I can handle this. I'll take one for a team. And then Nick comes back around again and pushes another boundary. And at this point, she has accepted the boundary pushing twice now that he knows what type of person she is. So it's easier for him to be like, no, you're gonna do this.
Mental manipulation is when people seek to exploit things that are the foundation of relationships, such as trust, understanding, and mutual respect, in order to benefit themselves in some way.
Regardless of how you establish yourself, if you were somebody that as a child you were taught your boundaries don't matter, it's gonna be hard for you to set those, right? So you're not the problem. It's not your fault. You're learning to set boundaries and not letting people take advantage of you. But the thing is, not everyone in your life will take advantage of you like that. But the ones that will, they will show themselves, and you need to stay the away from them.
They use your words against you to make you do something you don't want to do. 2 is that they don't really care for how you're feeling. 3 is that they make you feel guilty or ashamed. I'm gonna leave some articles and videos in the description because those help me a lot. Maybe you might be experiencing something like it, so I'm just gonna leave those linked below. It happened with Shookbug and Veronica Wang, and I never thought I'd be talking about this online, but here I am. That was kind of when Nick and I had our first interactions on a personal level through Instagram DMs. We spoke about what happened. From his side, it was more of him trying to clarify how I was involved or if I was involved, and also he wanted me to make a video on my side of the story. I had told him that I wasn't involved. I don't think I need to make a video. It was just back and forth of that. Not too long after, he asked me if I wanted to collab with him. I remember specifically being transparent with him and letting him know I don't want to collab just because I feel like the drama is too fresh.
This is it. This is the first time that Nikocado showed himself. So Stephanie is saying that there was a situation between Veronica Wang, and I remember hearing about this. A woman named Veronica, her, somebody else, all of this stuff. And Nikocado is trying to get a video going where they talk about it or they show up or they do something. This is an early sign of him using drama to like pull views. He's trying to set up a scenario that's going to make people uncomfortable or have the public react to something. And Stephanie, of course, she can't call him out on that, right? Because these type of people will call you crazy when you call them out on what they're doing if it's not super obvious. If they can get away with, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, that's exactly what they'll do. So what Stephanie had to do was respectfully decline because she knew that this video would cause drama. Nico capitalizes off of the drama while Stephanie tries to back away from it. Now, this is probably where the problems really start because Stephanie is not behaving the way that Nikocado wants her to behave.
Now, at this point, I was like, you know, I still feel like I want to meet him in person. You know, if he's in LA, I also felt like I turned down Tickle. I was like, let's meet.
Okay, there we go. That's Stephanie's people pleaser showing up again. She doesn't really know how to call him out. She just kind of wants to stay away. But she's like, oh, he's in town. Let me get some FaceTime so he likes me and he doesn't get mad at me. That's kind of the vibe that I get from this.
Immediately when I met him, I could probably say that I was kind of taken aback by how comfortable he was. He just kept saying, like, yeah, that's online. You can trust me.
Hopefully you can trust me now.
I do. I feel like in any other situation, I would never want to put this online. But because I feel like this is something that he's kind of holding over my head right now, kind of twisting my words, I just want to share with you some things that I shared with him.
Okay.
And it has nothing to do with Shookbug. And it is also another reason why I never made a video about this in the first place. Veronica and I have a very interesting relationship.
Okay, so they don't like each other.
A video when I was so small. Oh my gosh, she gave me a shout out and I just replayed that part where she said my name over and over again. I was like, oh my gosh. And she was always so encouraging. She always told me, you know, you're doing amazing. Like, don't give up. Like, you're doing great. Me and Veronica have weird personalities that maybe didn't match perfectly. I shared these little frustrations with him. It's nothing I would share online because I know how the internet works. I'm not gonna go and share every little frustration or annoyance that I have with every person. There was that conversation, and then a lot of it really was him opening up to me about his home life and Orlin and Orlin's tomatoes. We
Probably
stayed
wild.
in Hot Pot till 2 in the morning. We got kicked out like rebels. And at this point, we had been there for hours, and he had made me feel so comfortable and like I could trust him, like he understood me. I ended up opening.
This makes me like a little nervous, like in a like kind of scared way. And also, I didn't go into this video planning to like 100% Stephanie's side, because one thing that I remember from this was I think they used a lot of things that were relevant in the climate to get Stephanie's point across. So I'm waiting to see those things. But I will say, most of the time when you meet somebody new or you've met them online and you're meeting in person, you guys just talk. You're connecting. Maybe you talk about work. Maybe you talk about things you're doing this week. Shit, some people even talk about people. They connect negatively. But it's very strange when someone's goal in the first meeting is to get you to trust them as much as possible. I don't trust it.
The beginning, some of you may know, but I was sexually assaulted in my own home, into my home. And then they took away my power to say no.
Stephanie feels like her feelings are not valid enough that she had to share that incredibly personal story to make the things that she's saying about Nick stick. That's what I think just happened. And that fucking sucks. She should have never had to share that with the public. Never, ever, 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 ever. But in her brain, people aren't going to understand what's happening. And so she probably felt like she needed to give context.
It's kind of just shattered any sort of security that I felt at home prior.
Are you happy with your home? I low-key want that security system. And yeah, I have no complaints at all. The security system definitely helps me get peace of mind. I would highly...
He texted me back that night saying, yeah, what's the name of your fancy security system? I'd like to research it.
Okay, wait. That is weird. I would not like that. For you to text twice about this right after a meeting and then like he's texting her again at 10 o'clock at night, that is going to make Stephanie feel uncomfortable, period.
At this point, I disclosed which security system I had, but I also kind of told him like why I liked it. At this point, I felt like he was a friend and I wanted to give him whatever help he needed in terms of security.
Stephanie's people pleaser coming out.
Supposed to be about mukbang, and they had to reach out to me, and so I told him, hey, I was approached, but I turned it down. Are you doing it? And then he said, but yeah, I didn't know what level paranoid I was at, so I feel better knowing I'm not alone, LOL. At this moment, I really feel like cemented our friendship because I felt like there was this one common ground that we shared. There was this one thing that I feel like everyone's a little paranoid, but I feel like to the level where you are very paranoid about feeling safe and where most people feel the most safe. And he was telling me like, hey, you're not crazy. I thought I was crazy.
Manipulative people figure out what you want and what you fear, and they figure out how to dangle it in front of you and present these things to you to almost cycle through your emotions. And when you're so naive and trusting that you would never do that to someone, you can't imagine somebody doing that to you. To me, this, and he's been talking about the security system just the night before on October 29th, and he was at her home and saw how serious her security system was. Nikocado knows that home security is important to Stephanie, so for him to say this is a way for him to bond with her on a deeper level by saying, hey, I get you and I'm going through it too, you're not alone.
And he asked if I was interested in collabing. And this had been a really long time since Shukbang. And so I said, you know what, like we've developed a friendship, I've met you, I feel safe with you, you make me feel like I can trust you, of course, like let's collab, it'll be fun. And so Saturday he came over, and I want to say that Saturday I didn't have any feelings of like alarm or anything like that. I think there was like moments where, oh, that was a little weird, but nothing.
Have you guys ever been in a situation where somebody did something and maybe you know now that that was wrong or inappropriate or it was boundary pushing, and you knew that if you called them out on it, they would say, what are you talking about? That kind of stuff is awful. It really is, because if you're afraid to call it out, it's probably because somebody's called you crazy before or sensitive in the past for noticing those things. So then you get afraid to call them out again because it hurt when you were called sensitive or dramatic or something like that. And so you're like, well, I can take it. I can handle it. I'm strong enough to handle it. You gotta stand up for yourself there. You know, literally, just look at them, raise an eyebrow, question them, say, what? You know, let them know in a more subtle way that you feel comfortable with that was not okay, and just practice it.
I was originally supposed to meet Zach for breakfast, and then I was supposed to film with Nick for his channel, but we just kind of reworked the schedule. A lot of changes were made, and we all decided that we were going to film 3 videos, 3 collab videos with all 3 of us. So after breakfast, it would be me, Zach, and Nick for Zach's channel, so it'd be an ASMR video, and then the second video would be me, Nick, and Zach for Nick's channel, but it would be a mukbang, so Zach would just sit quietly, and then me and Nick would talk. And then the third video would be on Nick's channel with all 3 of us.
Dude,
this one would be...
This is too good. This definitely going up on my channel, the narcissist versus the people pleaser.
And we were in the car, and the topic of what we were going to talk about in the talking mukbang came up. And this is kind of when I first felt really uncomfortable, because Nick said it very assertively. We're going to talk about Veronica, and we're going to spill all the tea.
Oh my God. He knows Stephanie well enough at this point that she's so nice that when they're this close to filming the video, he knows that she's not going to push back on this, because he's going to say all of that. And then she, like, if she tries to, you know, contest it, he's going to be like, what do you mean? And then for people pleaser, when somebody hits you with the, what do you mean? That's what we're here for. You get gaslit. You get confused. That is what I'm here for.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
I am going into my child brain, and I don't want you to get mad at me right now. That's how this works.
And so I was immediately like, no. And then he went,
said,
why'd you tell me yesterday that you wanted to? And so I just remember, like, I was driving and I was like, this is so uncomfortable. Do I raise the music? Like, do I step on the pedal? What do I do?
It sounds to me like Stephanie has either been around a very narcissistic parent or ex or sibling or family member, because when you grow up as a child and you have a parent that when you do something wrong that maybe isn't wrong, it's not really wrong. It's you're not behaving the way that they want you to behave. They want you to behave in a way that is as easy as possible for their life, right? And sometimes that can invalidate your emotions. So let's say you have a parent that just shuts down and either gives you the silent treatment or makes you feel really uncomfortable when you do what's best for you. As an adult, when you sense those same feelings of shut down from a friend or something like that, you're gonna react exactly the same as you did when you were in the room with that parent. So Stephanie, in her head, she's in this car thinking, how do I stop him from being mad at me? How do I stop him? Do I just drop him off? Do I do what he wants? Like, what do I do? And she's just like frozen in her brain.
At least we cleared it up before the video. Like, at least now
She
he's
has?
a little upset.
Wait, she made a video about having a narcissistic parent.
We started filming the noodle mukbang. We sat down, he was in the middle of us, and we started eating these nuclear noodles. And I remember thinking to myself, damn, that car ride was important, because like we were honestly having a really, really good time for like the first half. And then Nick brought up the conversation of shukbang, but he brought it up in a way, and I know that the full footage is not out there. He did it in a way, I don't remember his exact wording, but it was in a...
What did you want to share? Or do you change your mind now?
Oh my God. People pleaser nation, rise up. We have a voice today. What do you want to share today? Or did you change your mind now? You like, oh my God, I don't even need to describe that one.
I just feel like...
You said you wanted to talk to your viewers with me here, but because you never talked to
She never said that.
And
you said that. You said that. He said that. Honey!
Almost like an interrogation, but I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'm gonna, joke it off. I'm gonna say my piece. I said, I don't have any hard feelings because you made those videos, and I get why you made those videos. I had these baby wipes in front of me, and I kept wiping him every time he got too serious to just kind of play it off like, let me wipe him up. And every single time I tried to do that, increasingly, it seemed like he got more offended.
In the narcissist brain like this, it's not like, I will make this face to make Stephanie do what I want. It's just like it just flows through him, and he just knows that this is gonna work. When a parent does this to you as the child, the parent is essentially teaching you that this is love. Basically gaslighting you and abusing you, but then they're saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. So for Stephanie, when she creates this relationship with Nick, she's being treated badly, but Nick is saying, no, you can trust me. No, I love you. No, you're great. This is no different than the parent. And Stephanie says, okay, I can trust him. This is my friend.
I kept trying to put it off. I kept trying to show him I'm uncomfortable. I kept trying to lighten the mood with jokes and give all of us an out of this conversation without ending it awkwardly. But it was just rapid fire, and it increasingly went from shukbang, maybe the first two sentences, into Veronica. And then instead of asking me any more questions, he started twisting my words. And he started saying things like, if only you guys knew what she told me. I would never tell you guys what happened, because she shared it with me in private. She trusts me with these things. But if you only knew.
When you sat down with me.
And I remember this one part where I freaked out because he said, she is such a strong woman to me. as if I had endured something so horrendous by Veronica. And I almost was like, shoot, do I say like, oh, whoa, it's not that serious. Like, all I did was go pick up hair dye with her, you know? But then that would defeat, like, I don't want to disclose all of this. I'm not comfortable with sharing this. This has nothing to do with anything.
I'm very curious to see
remember
Nick's
picking up a
response
baby
now,
wipe
too.
and
The people pleaser has limited tools because they don't really know how to set boundaries, but they're trying. Stephanie says, please, I don't want to talk about this anymore. That is her tool. And after that, she doesn't have many other resources to keep him away because she's still learning. But the narcissist, Nick, can keep going. There is no end to how much he's willing to push her. He's very smart and knows how to get to the end goal of what he wants, whereas Stephanie is just trying to use tools and resources to diffuse the situation. A person attempting to manipulate you emotionally may say there's someone you can confide in, but then later use your words against you as gossip or an attempt to convince you to do something you don't want to do. What I'm seeing so far, I'm really proud of Stephanie, and she should really be kind of like a beacon for people that went through this when they were kids, or that's going through it now, because even though it went on for a while and she got really scared, she's like standing up for herself, and she's like, I'm not letting you do that. You're crazy. I don't know what you're talking about.
It went on for 30 minutes. And it just felt so personal.
What I think she's about to describe now is feeling powerless. Because what a narcissistic parent does to you is they make you feel powerless and voiceless. And you almost go back into that disassociative state of just accept. It's called learned helplessness. And you can go, if you learned that as a child, you can go back into that state at any point in your life. Anyone can put you back there.
Felt like anything I say, even Nick stop, he would use it and make an exposing video or threaten me with it. I don't know.
Making some tea, you guys won't believe the audacity. Oh, fuck off. I'm exposing a YouTuber. These things that Nick is trying to do, these are threats, but it's also a demonstration of power. This is what I'm willing to do. And this is what I said to you before. Stephanie felt powerless and voiceless. And what he's basically doing with these statements is towering over her and trying to demonstrate his potential power. But what Stephanie's gonna do here is say, no, we're not doing this. These little things that Nick did to try to like keep power over here are actually the exact reason why she stood up and said something.
I just felt like it wasn't the same Nick I knew. He knew that I was uncomfortable. He knew I didn't want to talk about this, but he kept going. And so at what point does my uncomfort or does my feeling even matter to him? And so the video ends and I just feel really, really weird. I don't know how to describe the feeling. It's not just scared, but it's also like almost like ashamed, like
Back
wow,
to her childhood self.
Because I changed my mind. Did I change my mind? But I never had the mind to talk about Veronica. All I know is I was incredibly shaken up. And I just remember like I didn't want to be in close proximity with him, and I was just kind of like standing off to the side, and I didn't want to say anything but, oh, I'm so nervous. Like I don't know what to do. Oh man, like I wish I didn't say that. I'm so nervous because I felt like if I said I'm uncomfortable or I'm scared or
that she would
why
be
did he
punished.
do that, he would just get more and more increasingly angry with me because I don't want him to get angry. I don't want him to make a video using these words and trying to say all these things I said about Veronica. I just wanted to get through tonight. And that sounds crazy even to me. Like me saying that right now,
That's
sound
not crazy.
Stephanie, you are 24.
That's not
You should
crazy.
have got up and left.
No, whoever's saying to her, Stephanie, you're 24, you should have got up and left. It doesn't matter how old she is. She doesn't know how to set boundaries because her boundaries have been pushed her entire life. If anyone's trying to tell somebody, well, you're this old, this is what you should have done, that's f***ed up, man.
And I called my dad. And I was talking to him in Korean. And my dad was really concerned because we weren't really talking about anything serious, but I just wanted to sound as if I had gotten the worst news. And so I hung up with him, and you know, they both saw the conversation that I had. And Nick was like, are you okay? And I said, yeah, just a lot of really bad family stuff going on. I did this because
He needs
I was
information.
so scared of him that I didn't even want to act differently around him. But at that moment, I was so shaken, I knew I couldn't be goofy right now. I couldn't be excited, and so I just needed a minute.
Sometimes we meet people that feel familiar to us, and familiarity feels nice. And we're like, yes, yes, come with. But sometimes people are good familiar and sometimes they are bad familiar. So it sounds like for a couple weeks, Stephanie was like, this is familiar. This is familiar. This is familiar. And she slowly starts to realize, no, this is bad familiar. This is bad. This is bad, bad, bad. I have to get out. How do I get out? How do I get out? How do I get out without getting hurt? How do I get out without him being mad at me? And she doesn't know. And she's just like, this is bad, bad, bad. I have to get out. And that's kind of like where she's at right now. The level, and like, this is serious, you know? She's probably minimizing her own feelings and the people around her are minimizing her by being like, what are you talking about? What is this? But in her brain, she's realizing now that this is really bad and she knows what this person is capable of doing. And it scares her and she knows she needs to get out, but she doesn't know how. Oh, this is really great. I want to share this. Madison says, it is very important to practice postponing giving an answer when you're uncomfortable. Quote, I need some time to think about this or something similar. That's a great thing because there's a lot of people in here that are saying that they have those people pleaser tendencies. So there are two skills right there. First, telling the person, I don't know. That makes me uncomfortable. I think I just need a minute to think so I give you the right answer. So then when, some time has passed and they come back to you, well, did you think about it? Then you can use the skill that Stephanie used where she set her boundary and said, well, I don't know about that. So now you've got two lines of defense, right? Then you need a third or maybe a fourth one to help you out. And you, people pleasers, you can rise up, okay? You just need tools. Maybe we'll try to figure out more and talk about that in the future.
And he would say things like, Nick would say things like, Stephanie, we're all tired. So I felt like that was a signal to me, like, get it together.
Yeah. For the people pleaser, it's going to register, it's my fault. It is my fault that everyone's tired. It is my fault that we are still here. It is my fault that I'm taking this too long. And then everything is out, that's all the emotion she feels.
And I just felt like if I didn't make him feel like everything was okay, he would just get more and more angry with me. The third video, at the end of the ASMR, because it was a whispering one, Nick turned to me and he said, is there anything else you'd like to say?
I say, fuck off and die.
Oh my God. What are they in church?
And I drive home. And when I am driving home, I'm experiencing a lot of emotions. Even after what happened in the video, he knew. There's no way he didn't know I was uncomfortable.
He knew. And Stephanie is such a nice person that she's and I'm gonna go ahead and say I think that Stephanie is a nice person, probably. She doesn't seem like she is looking to cause any malice. I'm gonna say that she has good intentions here. He knows that she's uncomfortable, but in Nick's brain, it's not she's uncomfortable, I'm gonna keep going. In his brain, it's just I'm in control, which is where he feels the most comfortable.
There was no, hey, are you okay? I know it got a little heated. There was none of that. But I also feel really weird. Like, I almost feel like I did tell him. Did I? I don't.
Look how gaslit she is. You poor baby. When you feel these negative feelings of guilt and shame, the way that you can control the guilt and shame is by using blame, right? And so a lot of people, especially people pleasers or children that have been abused, they choose to blame themselves. Now they have control over the guilt. Well, I did this wrong, and so I just won't do that again. So no more guilt for me. This can be an incredibly character-building trait to have, but it is incredibly oppressive for your mental state. Anytime somebody directs something bad at Stephanie, she blames herself, whether it's her fault or not, in order to control those feelings of guilt and shame. But now you're still feeling the guilt and shame. It's just you're the puppeteer of it now instead of the person on the outside.
My fiance he obviously knows something's wrong. And so he's sitting there and he's saying, babe, what happened? I was like,
and she doesn't know how to explain it.
Something happened.
Yeah, she doesn't know how to explain it.
Because what was there to talk about?
She doesn't know how to explain it. Oh my
against
God.
my will to film these videos. I just can't explain this fear. And I just was so scared that I sounded crazy. Because you're a grown woman, you had a car, and I vowed I would never find myself in a position like that ever again. Where I felt like no really didn't have a lot of power. And I felt like it didn't matter if I was uncomfortable. That night I was really pushed into a really, really, really dark place that I never thought I would be in again. I had a breakdown, and it was unlike any other breakdown I had. It was one where I felt shame, guilt.
Yep.
Because I did say I say I would talk about it. Didn't I? I don't know.
No.
Who said I did?
When I first saw this clip of Stephanie crying, and I saw it in the video 2 years ago or so, I thought that this was a lot. I didn't know why she would put this in. What I think it is now is that Stephanie had her reality denied so much, she was also afraid that the public was going to deny her reality. So she had to show everyone. She had to share that incredibly dark secret in the beginning. She had to show this footage of like, no, I really truly felt this way. She had to share these incredibly sensitive things because she felt really like nobody would believe her. Let's just assume at this point that Nick is a narcissist, okay? And what the narcissist does is they control you. They figure out what your weaknesses are. They make you trust them, all that kind of stuff. Especially if you're a people pleaser, you are primed and prepped for the narcissistic person. When you figure out the narcissist, when they can tell something is up, they decide that they're going to discard you first. They're going to get rid of you first. They know that that abandonment is going to hurt you first. They're going to shut you down and make it seem like you lost them because of something you did, and they're justified in leaving, right? And then what they're going to do after that is start a smear campaign against you to everyone that knows you. And then they're going to have this group of people that also think that you're a crazy, sensitive liar. I think at this point, Nikocado knows that something is up, and he's ready to start the process of the discard and then the smear campaign. If that's what happens in the rest of this video, that's gonna put Stephanie through hell.
Guess what happens next?
I texted them at 3:29 p.m. and I said, hey guys, sorry I've been in and out of sleep all afternoon after staying up late after getting back. I don't think I'll be able to film any collabs today. I'm feeling really sick and I realized I had a few sponsors due before year end that are really time sensitive. I'm so sorry, I hope you guys understand, but I'm really happy that we knocked some out yesterday. I put my phone down, I put it on silent.
I bet he responded
And these
fast.
are the next messages I got. You just not realized?
I want to know the
Stephanie,
times.
I have been sitting here for 5 hours. When you were going in and out of sleep, you should have picked up the phone and given me a call, not leave me hanging. You didn't like it when Veronica did that to you.
Why the f did you just bring Veronica up into this when you know that that's a sensitive subject for Stephanie? He knows that. He's 100% aware of that. If you are aware of that and it still comes out of your mouth, at this point, it is indeed malicious and you can no longer deny that. This is a loaded statement for someone who just set their boundaries. In her above text message, she set her boundaries, and then in the 4 text messages afterwards, Nick basically said your boundaries don't matter. That's what happened.
I texted him back. I'm so sorry for making you feel that way. I sincerely apologize. I was so drained and slightly out of it this morning, and I'm so upset I didn't call you back earlier because I would never want you to feel like I don't respect your time. Again, I'm truly sorry.
Okay.
And out of respect for our developing friendship, I do want to be transparent and let you know I was uncomfortable with yesterday's video. I'm so sorry if I...
She should have said, I was uncomfortable with yesterday's video, period. But afterwards, what she does is she blames herself to alleviate not wanting to make Nick mad, and she basically gives Nick an out by blaming herself. I'm so sorry if I let you think or miscommunicated in any way that I wanted to talk about Veronica, but I truly did not. She didn't have to say this because it's not real, but Nick can latch on to this now.
Neither of us had any hard feelings.
No, you're saying too much. Listen, if you suspect, and I'm look, we are not pointing a finger at Stephanie. We love support, and we're holding baby right now. But please, guys, if you suspect that someone is narcissistic or being manipulative or trying to do something like this to you, give them the least amount of information as possible. I know that we want to be open and honest and communicative because that is our heart, that is what's pure in us, but these people don't want to communicate with you. And the more information you give them and the more you blame yourself, the more they will latch onto that, and they're gonna screen cap your shit, your vulnerability, they're gonna send it to people, they're gonna send it out of context. Give them as little as possible and force them to answer to it, just as they do to you. Turn it back on them.
And I did give you my perspective on what happened when we hung out, and I felt as if it was misrepresented in the video. I've mentioned to you many times that although Veronica and I aren't friends, and I am hurt or annoyed by some things that happened between us, I have absolutely no ill will towards her, and I feel some compassion for her situation since I've gotten to know her prior. Again, I understand this is your video, and I respect your feelings about the situation, but this is how I feel. He texted me back. Then why did you tell me at your house that you wanted to address it on my channel? Also, why are you texting this to Zach? I messaged you privately.
Cringe!
I want to address the issue here since all three of us were in the video, and I also owe Zach an apology for this morning and not keeping him updated on the schedule. I'm so sorry for any inconveniences I've caused. Again, from the bottom of my heart, I'm so sorry if I made you feel that way. I wanted to let you know
backs her up?
because
Okay.
I didn't know that there was a gap of miscommunication and understanding between us till the middle of that video we were filming. I was okay with talking about Shukbang as it pertains to just you and me. Again, I apologize for any misunderstanding there could have been. I hope you enjoy the rest of your stay, and I'm so sorry again for this morning as well. He responded with, you already talked to Zach this morning, but ignored me for 5 hours after that. Don't play games.
My
I texted it back
God.
and I said, again, I'm so
Oh
sorry
my
if there
God.
was any miscommunication.
Stephanie,
if I made you
we're-
feel that way.
Stephanie,
And
we're
to
sorry.
take this- I know that I impacted your schedule today, and I'm so sorry about that. He said, awesome. So which day
Oh
would you like to
my!
正违规异常，了解详情请按0，由法语客服为您服务。
schedule
Sick! Sick!
And I
Sick!
responded,
Fuck off! Don't
I
respond
know
to
that
him.
you're in LA for only a couple
No,
more
no,
days
no,
and
no.
have a lot scheduled,
No,
and I'm so
no.
sorry for today.
No!
Please talk to me. Zach told me he wants to
No,
be with
okay,
Zach. I reached-
stop. Nick says, please talk to me. Stephanie has been open, honest, communicative, and above all, vulnerable through this entire conversation. When she has sent you paragraphs of her feelings, paragraphs, that is textbook gaslighting. When somebody does something and then you afterwards say, please do this, when they just fucking did it, they're gonna be like, they're just gonna break. And next, Nikocado says, Zach told me he wants to be left out. This is also incredibly manipulative. What Nikocado is basically saying to Stephanie is, hey, Zach didn't tell you this, but Zach told me this. And it kind of is gonna make her wonder, whose side is Zach on? And you know, the other thing too is you gotta like, and I know this drama's way in the past, but when this is happening, it's like you gotta give Zach a beat because Zach definitely has Nikocado in his ear slandering Stephanie because that's what these people do. And then Zach is seeing all this drama and he's like, I just wanted to film a mukbang. So it's fair that Zach needs a couple hours or a couple days to really look at both sides before he draws any conclusions.
The text messages that he sent, please give me a call. I got your group message, but it would be nice to talk to you
You
here.
know-
You only message things to the group chat, but not to me here. This is going to be my last time reaching out for the evening. I'm feeling hurt. Please talk to me, not through Zach. And later on, after all of this, there were some Instagram posts and stories that were made that I didn't know, but they were made while this conversation was happening. And the first is his Instagram post that's still up right now as I'm filming this,
No.
and I'm gonna put it right here. And it says, I'm this effing close to making an exposing video.
This is the picture that he picked for his big expose teaser. Do you guys understand how Stephanie is feeling all of these things? Like, she articulates it well. Like, I felt shame. I felt guilt. I felt weird. I didn't know what was happening. Does it make sense to you guys that Stephanie could essentially be transported back to her childhood brain where she was in a house with a narcissist that was invalidating her feelings, and she can kind of be there but not know what's going on or how to put it into words, especially when you haven't taken the mask off of the narcissist yet. If you are ever in that feeling where suddenly you feel numb, you feel weird, you feel like you're somewhere else, probably how Stephanie felt, tap into that and ask yourself, where am I right now? Like, just try to hold it and really try to dig in there and say, where am I right now? And you might be able to figure out where in your childhood this feeling is coming from, because that's where it all starts.
And I went through all of Saturday when he was at my house. He was here for
Okay,
about
all right,
5
Scar.
hours.
Okay.
And out of those
Chill.
5 hours that he was here, I used the restroom once. And during that time that I slipped away to the restroom very, very quickly, the one time that I did, without letting me know what he was doing, he took multiple pictures inside my house. And then immediately he started looking around at the ceiling. I didn't have any cool light fixtures up there. I just don't know what else would be up there other than security cameras. Seeing that footage was shattering and so angering because after everything that he made me feel safe enough to tell him about, I told him about the one thing that I don't talk to anyone about anymore. And I don't know if I would be this alarmed if throughout our entire
Hi, Cleo.
interactions, I feel like he had never had any good or even harmless intentions with everything that he did.
Sometimes we tend to project our own morals onto others. I say this all the time, and I'll never stop saying it, okay? I could trust him. He was so nice. Like, just because somebody says, I don't know who needs to hear this, but just because somebody says that you can trust them does not mean you can trust them.
I felt like, yes, this is gross. Yes, this is creepy. But really, it's your problem, Stephanie, because you have this trauma that maybe not a lot of people have. And maybe even though Nick knows about your trauma and knows how crazy you are about home security, maybe he doesn't really understand.
You are not crazy. Stephanie is not crazy. There are actually people like this. They will come into your life and take everything from you, walk all over you, throw you under the bus, and then say it's your fault. You are not crazy. You're not. You're not. And they'll call you sensitive because your sensitivity is what made you realize that they're a piece of shit. So they hate your sensitivity and they will try to beat it down.
You won't believe the audacity people have, but I have lots of receipts and audio clips. The definition of audacity means rude or disrespectful behavior. I know that Nick is really offended because I was being really rude and self-serving, and I had the audacity to do a lot of things, and I just want to apologize that I had the audacity to say no to you because I felt unsafe. I'm sorry that I had the audacity to open my doors and let you into my home, and then you took advantage of that, and I'm sorry that I had the audacity to make you feel like I changed my mind. But I think it's really important that we all know that a yes is not all-inclusive. Just because you say yes doesn't mean you're saying yes to everything for the rest of forever. That's incredibly predatory and manipulative.
It is very difficult when somebody who's telling the truth is faced with a manipulator, because you remember what I was saying about the tools that you have and eventually you run out of tools? When you approach something with, here's the truth, it's you being vulnerable, that's your tool, right? Well, the manipulator's got 5, 6, 7, 8 tools. So they're gonna dismantle your vulnerability and the truth. They're gonna find a way to dismantle the truth and then take you to a new point where you don't have any tools to answer to it because your only weapon was the truth. Hats off to Stephanie. Very much so.